On your way to the world-famous Borobudur Temple, you will be enchanted by the natural beauty of central Java. In harmony with nature, people can live peacefully. Nature itself provides whatever is needed to pass from one season to the next. Life is like a brook, rippling over the stones, or like a wheel continuously revolving. However, this movement of peace has long been destroyed by human greed. Greed brings forth contradiction, inequality, and social injustice. While approaching the Borobudur Temple, the contradictions of life become ever more evident, and we shall not find peace until we reach the final stage of our path at the very top of the temple. Was built around the year 800. After that, during 1.5 centuries, the Borobudur Temple became one of the great pilgrimage places of the world. From the city of Yogyakarta, which is the residence of a sultan, the distance to the Borobudur is about 45 kilometers. If we want to follow the path of peace in the footsteps of the Buddha, as did the pilgrims more than 1,000 years ago, we should start with a visit to the Mendut Temple. At this temple, we are confronted with numerous reliefs depicting animal stories. All these stories represent human attitudes which lead to contradiction and injustice. The turtle falls to death because of his pride, which makes him lose self-control. This bird likes to teach in a haughty way. As a result, his beautiful nest is destroyed by an angry monkey. The cat, pretending to be a pious monk, is finally outwitted by the clever mice. The two-headed bird will die because the upper head doesn't want to give a chance to the lower head. After we have meditated about these animal stories inside the Mendut temple, we encounter Buddha, who has overcome all the contradictions of society. The position of his hands show that he fully controls the wheel of life, which means he masters the cause and the effect. We, however, who have just started our pilgrimage, still have a very long way to go until we reach this wisdom. To reach Borobudur from Mendut Temple, we have to cross two rivers, the Elo and the Progo. Nowadays, it takes less than 10 minutes to drive from Mendut to the Borobudur temple. But formerly, the pilgrims had to descend the valley and cross the river Elo, climb up, descend again, cross the river Progo, and then climb up again. As if, by passing through these rivers, the pilgrims purify themselves before entering the spiritual realm which surrounds Borobudur. The Pawan temple is a place to rest and to leave behind all evil thoughts. Nowadays, the area in front of the main temple is crowded with visitors who want to buy all kinds of souvenirs or who are on their way to the entrance gate. This bustle seems to be in sharp contrast to the peace we are looking for. Nevertheless, we have to face this reality, just like any earthly pilgrim who wants to liberate himself from the contradictions of life. Here, we shall find the path which leads us to peace. The Borobudur temple is built on a hill which is 31 meters high. Seen from above, it has the shape of a square. The length of each side is 123 meters. At the foot of the temple, we witness the law of cause and effect, which is called karma. Uncontrolled passion, haughtiness, hypocrisy, and greed are the cause which brings about as its effect suffering, misery, and death. This is depicted in 160 reliefs at the foot of Borobudur temple. However, more than 1,000 years ago, when this temple was built, its builders covered the foot which had almost been completed. So now, most of these reliefs cannot be seen anymore. Only one corner has been reopened for the visitors. Above the covered foot, there are 4 galleries where we can find 1,300 reliefs. The pilgrims used to meditate on these reliefs, walking around in circles, clockwise, starting from the east gate. First, they looked at the upper row to the right, then, in the second round, to the lower row on the same side. After that, they meditated on the pictures in the upper row to the left, and then on the stories represented underneath, before they climbed to the next gallery on the following floor. During the first round, the visitors followed the Buddha's life story, represented in 120 reliefs. This relief tells the story of Queen Maya, who is to become the Buddha's mother. She is in the middle of dreaming. In her dream, she sees a white elephant descending from heaven and entering her womb. After this, she becomes pregnant. When it is time to give birth, Maya has to go to a specific place, the Lumbini forest. Queen Maya's son is called Siddhartha Gautama. He will later become the Buddha. His birth is followed by an incredible event. As soon as the baby is born, he can walk, and in the first 7 steps he takes, grows a lotus flower for each step. When Siddhartha Gautama enters the temple, all the statues of the gods descend from their pedestals to pay homage to him. As Siddhartha Gautama gets older, his father wants him to get married. The name of his bride is Gopa. On his travels away from the palace, Prince Siddhartha has 4 significant encounters. The first encounter is with an old man. Then he meets a sick person. After that, Siddhartha sees a dead person. Old age, sickness, and death are all things that people fear, including the people back at the palace. Finally, he meets a monk. Now Prince Siddhartha is convinced that there is one person who is free from fear. The monk doesn't feel threatened by old age, sickness, or death. After these 4 encounters, Prince Siddhartha no longer enjoys living at the palace, although his father brings in a lot of beautiful women. He becomes even more repulsed at the scene when the women have fallen asleep. He manages to escape while the guards are asleep. Renouncing his old life, he cuts his hair. He is now on his way to become the Buddha. Here, Siddhartha is washing the clothes of a dead slave, which later he wears himself. From now on, Siddhartha wants to live in solidarity with the poor. Siddhartha doesn't want to own anything. However, when a straw cutter gives him a cushion of braided grass, Siddhartha accepts the gift. Later, he uses the straw cushion to sit on when he meditates under the Bodhi tree. Bodhi means enlightenment. His meditation doesn't always work out smoothly. At a certain stage, Siddhartha is attacked by the evil god Mara and his troops. But Siddhartha is not impressed by Mara. The arrows shot at him are turned into flowers. Later on, Siddhartha is tempted by women dancing before him, but this doesn't make him interrupt his meditation. After all of these distractions are overcome here under the Bodhi tree, Siddhartha finally attains enlightenment and becomes Buddha, which means the enlightened one. When the Buddha reaches the Ganges River, the boatman doesn't want to take him across because the Buddha doesn't have any money. But then, the boatman is astonished to see that in a flash, the Buddha flies across the river. For the Buddha, money is no longer necessary. Buddha's life story ends here, with his first sermon in Benares. But we have only finished the first of 10 rounds. Before climbing up to the next gallery, there are still 3 rounds to make on this floor to see the lower row of reliefs to the right and the 2 rows on the left. Like at Mendut Temple, here too we can observe many animal stories. These are incarnations of the Buddha before he was born as a human being. As a cuckoo, the future Buddha happens to fly by the lion who devours a goat. When a piece of bone gets caught in his throat, the lion cries for help. With his bill, the future Buddha takes out the piece of bone from the lion's throat. To test the lion, he then asks, "Lion, king of the forest, what will be my reward now?" The lion replies, "Reward? You're still safe, and I didn't swallow you when you were in my mouth. That's a very generous gift if you ask me. Why are you still after a reward?" The future Buddha's readiness to help is sharply contrasted with the haughty attitude of the king. The future Buddha is on the side of the weak and downtrodden. When a group of tradesmen gets shipwrecked, the future Buddha, incarnated as a giant turtle, saves them by carrying them on his back to the shore. There, the tradesmen get hungry. Noticing this, the turtle offers himself as food. The future Buddha doesn't hesitate to offer his own life for the benefit of people in need. After 4 rounds in the first gallery, the pilgrims still have to do 6 rounds more, 2 rounds each in the second, third, and fourth galleries. Each time we climb, we have to pass through the mouth of Kala, the god of time, who swallows all the hindrances of the past. Once all these obstacles disappear, we are free to experience the peace of the Buddha. This part is called Arupadhatu, which means the realm without form. Each of the 72 bell-shaped stupas covers the statue of a Buddha. Just like in the Mendut Temple, here too, the position of the Buddha's hands shows that he has the power to turn the wheel of cause and effect. He is in control of all possible contradictions. He has reached eternal peace. Through a variety of animal stories, we have learnt about the causes of suffering. Whereas in Buddha's life story and in his incarnations, we have witnessed the path of peace. The higher we climb, the calmer it gets. The holes at the stupas below are diamond shapes, but the holes at the stupas in the highest row are restful squares, showing that the final calmness has now been reached. At the top, there is the main stupa. This stupa is empty. Whether originally there was meant to be something in it, we don't know. Maybe there doesn't need to be anything inside this stupa. The emptiness represents perfection, true perfection which needs no further explanation. Up here, it is quiet and peaceful. We feel like we don't want to go down, but we cannot stay here forever. We have to go back to a bustling world in order to bring the peace of the Buddha to the people, because the Borobudur Temple is really the path of peace for mankind.